Hey everybody, welcome back to the vlog. Thank you so much for joining me once again this morning for tea time. So I was going to talk about something newsy today, but yesterday was April 1st and there was a lot of April Fool's stuff out there. I didn't want to get into all of the April Fool's stuff, so I decided not to talk about news. There really wasn't a lot out there to talk about today. So I wanted to address, a couple of you guys had some questions about editing and the editing that I do and how do I make things quicker. So one of the main things that I do is called nesting. Now I do use Adobe's Premiere Pro CC, and nesting is really important when I create my videos. And I want to talk to you guys about it. If you do video editing, you'll probably find this interesting. You might be doing nesting as it is now, or maybe you're not. If you're not, you probably should be. And I'm going to tell you why. So what is nesting and why do we want to use it? Well, today things are getting larger and larger and larger when it comes to video, right? We're starting to record now 4:2:2 with almost no loss. And we're recording things that are 4K, that are 10-bit and whatnot. And they take up a ton of space. And there is limitations to the space. So if you're recording with a DSLR or ILC, any type of video recorder that's not, let's say, creating continuous files that are just extremely large, long files and breaking it down into segments, which most of them do, let's say 4 gigabyte segments, for example, like this camera does, then what will happen is when you're done, you'll end up with a bunch of files. So for this one, when I do my 10, 20 minutes, whatever I record, they're normally about 2 or 3 files long. Now that's only 1080p. If I was recording at 4K, I would probably have double the amount, 6 files or 8 files, right? Now, if I was doing 4K at 10-bit that we're doing 422 or something, you're talking about a ton of small files. Literally a ton, probably 30. So what do you do with them all, right? You throw them onto a timeline and everything is a hot mess because you need to do the effects to all of them. Or maybe you need to change the color. Maybe you're doing color grading. Maybe you're changing the audio. Maybe you're changing clarity, and whatever the case might be, you want it to happen to everything, right, guys? You want it to happen to everything. So I'm going to jump into some video. I'm going to use video from the last vlog that I did just as reference material, just so you can see what I'm talking about and the power of nesting sequences. So let's go ahead and jump into Premiere so we can see how to get this done. Let's do a new project. We'll call it whatever, and we're going to put it into the appropriate folder. Let's see here. This looks good. Select. All right. So let's grab a couple of files from the last vlog. Here's 2 here, and let's grab this third one. That looks good. Let's go ahead and drag these 3 over to the timeline. So now we can see them. There's 1, 2, and 3. All of them are here. Now, as you can see, the video that we have here is divided into those 3 segments. Now, if we want to do, for example, color grading, or if we wanted to change volume, or we wanted to maybe want to make it all black and white, the footage, well, we can do that. But what we'd have to do is make those corrections to each sequence. That is where we start getting into some issues. So let's say we wanted to color grade this, or maybe change the audio, or whatever the case might be, but we want it to happen to all 3 at the same time instead of having to do them separately. Now, normally people would do them separately. They would pick this clip, go into color to grade, and let's say we want to turn it into black and white, for example. Drag that saturation down to nothing. Now we have black and white. The problem is this clip is black and white, whereas this one over here is not, right? We want it to all be black and white. The easiest way to do this is to create this sequence. So what we want to do is highlight all 3 clips, then right click, and then come here and click nest. That's it. We want to call it something. Let's call it main nest. Now, as you can see here, those 3 sequences, or those 3 video files, have now turned into 1. So whatever we do to this sequence now happens to all 3. 3 is not a lot, but like I said, if you were shooting at 4K at 10-bit and you have a ton of files, all of a sudden this becomes extremely important because now you can do modifications to all of them at the same time instead of having to do them one by one by one and then copy pasting, and hopefully you don't forget one. So now we can simply click on this sequence and drag our saturation down to nothing. We could come back over to the editing window and that's it. We can see that everything now is black and white. That's the first clip and the last, or even the very, very end clip is also black and white. It allows you to be able to edit a lot quicker, and that's what it's all about. We want to be able to put out video as quick as possible, and to do so, we need to find little tricks, little things that we can do to be able to edit quicker. So now if you need to get into this nest and see all those sequences within it, that's all you have to do is double click on it, and it immediately brings back all of your sequences. Now, that's all we have to do is click over here and we can go back to our nest or click on main nest and we can see what's inside. For me, it's really powerful to create these nests because now everything that you want is in one place and any type of modifications that you want to do can be done with a single click instead of constantly making changes to separate sequences, separate clips. It ends up being a big time saver doing this. Now, let's say if we have this main nest and we have B-roll. So let me go ahead and cut off a little piece at the back end here. All right. This is once again a nest. Now we change this into 4 pieces. So now we have 4 pieces. This is going to be our B-roll, let's call it. This B-roll, we want to play somewhere in the middle over here. Matter of fact, we could even delete the audio because we don't want audio. This is going to be the B-roll, and we want to stick it somewhere right around here. Now, we want it to be all, once again, one sequence. That's all we have to do is highlight the 4 pieces, right-click, hit nest, and let's say we're going to call it B-roll. So now, as you can see here, we have the B-roll as a nested sequence. Very simple. We have 4 clips within this one in one sequence or one nest. And we can go and move this anywhere. What's really interesting and what really is powerful here is, for example, if I was to go into this B-roll and we can see these 4 clips, if I wanted this to run in reverse, I click on the first one, I go to speed, duration, I say reverse, I hit OK. Now, when this plays, what will happen is it'll play in reverse. That's fine, but then the next one we want to play in reverse also. And then the next one and the next one. The problem is we want all of them to play in reverse in one sequence. We can't do that separately. We have to do it as a whole. So let me undo this and let me get out of here and go to the B-roll. And here you can see the B-roll once again as its own sequence or its own nest. We can right click, go down to speed duration, change it to reverse, hit OK. And now this entire sequence of 4 clips are all going to be running in reverse. The same thing if we want to do a dissolve effect or any type of effects that we want to do to an entire sequence, creating a nest is the best way to do it. It just makes things simple. The other great thing about nesting is to be able to organize your project. So for example, you have your main timeline, then you have your B roll, your C roll, your D roll, all kinds of other stuff. Let's say your text, but you want them all in that sequence so you can work on them separately, but as a whole, if you need to. So creating these nests makes it super simple to be able to do that. So anyways, guys, I hope nesting is going to help you to make things a lot easier for your timelines. And as we get further down the road and we're finding that we're getting more and more files to create smaller and smaller video clips, we're going to need to be able to do things like nesting to speed up our workflow. To be able to work with a single sequence in comparison to multiple, let's say 30, all right, is a lot quicker than having to do 30 at a time and be able to get those just right and hope that you don't screw something up. So that's it, guys. That's my vlog for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something from it. If you enjoy the content, as always, please throw me a big thumbs up. That would be awesome. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you can get all my content when it becomes available, and click the bell icon so when it is available, you will be notified of it. And finally, head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools that I've invented for you and me over the years. And hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me. that would be awesome. I really appreciate all of you for being here. Thank you so much. And we'll see you in the next vlog. Happy editing, guys.